Gentlemen, welcome to another capsule series selection. Today, I'm ready and eager to dive into a section of fragrances in my collection that I bring out for a certain criteria, but can lead me to a secondary event. These are fragrances, in my honest opinion, are a great dissection of business and pleasure. What I'm going to present to you guys is 6 fragrances in my collection that actually give you an effect of that great carnal sexuality, that very sexy savage, while also bringing out the sophisticated business gentleman that can be a business magnate. These are fragrances that come off spectacular with performance, with longevity, and smell-wise. Things that are very pleasant and woody, sensual, citrus, great fragrances for encompassing a very good personality for each fragrance. If this sounds like the type of content you think you'll enjoy, pull up a seat, pour a glass, and of course, let's enhance. And welcome back to The Dry Down, the lifestyle channel where we as enthusiasts aspire to enhance and elevate our olfactive sensory experiences through the understanding of the different aromas, facets, and nuance of scent, cigars, and wine. I'm your host, Chris. Welcome to today's experience. We're going to dive right to a list. Like I said, this is the perfect dissection for me when it comes to business and pleasure in fragrances. The first one on my list I'm going to bring up to you guys is one that can be stated as the most prolific business fragrance of all. This is my second bottle of this, just came in new for me. This is Sartorial by the house of PENHALIGON'S. This is a very spicy, woody, fougere style of fragrance that has some very sweet and fresh undertones that make it that secondary operation for you guys when you're going out after work to a business dinner affair or a nightcap, or just something you want in longevity to be pleasant throughout the day and be an alluring fragrance for you that comes off very, very well in that dissection of business and pleasure fragrances. This is built around the spicy accords or cardamom. You know, it has ozonic notes, violet leaf, neroli, and ginger, which makes it spicy and inviting and alluring, while also having the fougere effect of the lavender and the cyclamen and some very nicely done oak moss and amber. Has a very sweet tonka bean and vanilla base with white musk and cedar wood, which makes it that very sensual feeling fragrance for you in the end. This is one that when you talk to different fragrance reviewers or see different reviewers on this platform, you'll see that many of the ladies in their life that have come on and done some lists for them have picked out Sartorial as the sexy fragrance for their man. And this is one that I very much so can vouch for. Like I said, this is the second bottle of mine. This just came in new. And I think I should let you guys know that Sartorial, while being cost effective as well, is a great fragrance for the type of event that can be going from the business office and make it adjacent to sensual and alluring. Great fragrance. Sartorial by the house of PENHALIGON'S. Gentlemen, what I have up next on this list, this is Mason Francis Kirkjohn's darling, if you ask me. He has many hits, but some are very much so underlying in the basket that, to me, pull off more versatility, more magnetism, while also being great scents that are very unique. And this scent here is AMYRIS Pour Homme, and this is the EXTRAIT edition. Now, in finding out about this fragrance, I would not say that either the EDT or the EDP will be one that you cannot have in this particular conversation. These are great, beautifully formulated fragrances with a Caribbean AMYRIS, which is this woody, fresh, spicy nuance over this grand, just seductively done base of florentine iris, vanilla, saffron, Brazilian tonka bean, and Ceylon cinnamon. This comes with some of the most expensive and exquisite ingredients of all of his fragrances. He also put a very succulent, sweet, and inviting Sicilian mandarin orange in this particular fragrance, and it comes off just phenomenally well. Smells of luxury, opulence, while also having some fun interplay inside the fragrance from that AMYRIS playing over that tonka bean and Ceylon cinnamon. So it's sophisticated, it's alluring, it's in addition to any one fragrance that can be an input and immediately go off and start wearing this fragrance. As you can see, this is one that I go through a lot of. That's the back end. The sticker plate has a little design on the back of it, but this fragrance gets worn a lot. One of my favorite fragrances from the house of Mason Francis Kirkjohn, AMYRIS Pour Homme Extrait de Parfum, a great addition. Fresh, sweet, woody, spicy, and citrus that can come into your collection and play the great dissection of sensual and business. The great business and pleasure fragrance. AMYRIS Pour Homme, house of Mason Francis Kirkjohn. So next up, guys, what I have on the list for you As you know, for some reason, I have fallen head over heels for Oud Bleu Intense. I've presented this fragrance a few times on many lists. I've also done a particular connoisseur's conversation where I gave its own particular review. And to me, what Oud Bleu Intense does is it encompasses many parts of my personality that I want to bring forward. It's a very alluring fragrance. It has my favorite accords of spicy woodiness with some resinous and spicy, slightly fresh touches to it. This one, a phenomenal scent. You've seen this one before on many different channels. This one here is formulated to be appealing, fresh, woody, spicy, and alluring, while also giving that great, spectacular edge to a business fragrance. This is built around a great, once again, cardamom, orange, a mandarin orange, a nice spicy nutmeg that is so mellow, soft, and alluring that you just can't. It evolves over the skin with the rest of the accords throughout the fragrance. And that nutmeg, surprisingly, is a fresh take on a soft, warm, spicy fragrance. And it's very, very encompassing of a just dynamic gentleman who wants to be sensual later in his day. So this is a fragrance that you could put on. The performance on this is good. It's not great. This is one, when you say great, I'm saying about 10 hours. So it's good at about 6 hours, then you reapply. And the special thing about that one is that dry down accompanied with that fresh opening is one spectacular fragrance to take you throughout the whole entire day. I love this fragrance for its mid of citrus labdanum. It has to have some of the components of what you would be kind of off-put to think that it's a deeper, heavier fragrance, because it has frankincense, it has myrrh, it has benzoyl, oud, styrax, and papanax, but it's a very fresh take on those scents. And I'm coming to find out with many fragrances in my collection that has that type of compound to it, they come off slightly fresh to me sometimes. Not sometimes, often enough to where I have put many of them in my spring and sometimes summer rotation as a fragrance, including Oud Bleu Intense by the House of Fragrance Du Bois. A very, very nicely done scent, very masculine, very sophisticated, very debonair, but it brings out a very sensual and carnal side to anybody once it's smelled by the opposite sex. Love this fragrance. Once again, this is Oud Bleu Intense by the House of Fragrance Du Bois. So next up, as I carry you throughout this list of presentation of fragrances that divide the line, perfectly bisect the line of woody, sensual, I could not go without presenting you guys with Creed's Royal Oud. This is a fragrance that was done by Julien Rasquinet, which you guys know from watching my channel is one of my favorite perfumers. He did a phenomenal job, and the great thing about this one, after smelling this one, this one has macerated so well. This is one of the original batches of this particular scent. And for me, I don't know if it's, I have not smelled many of the new batches. I smelled one. The citrus up top was a lot more livelier than this one is. So I'm either thinking that the maceration has dulled down some of my opening lime and bergamot, or the underlying clove, angelica, and like the cardamom have really risen in strength. Either way, this particular scent here is one that I get so many compliments on for its nature. It's woody, it's spicy, it's fresh, resinous, and it has a little bit of smoke to it. At the end of the day, this is one of those compliment magnet fragrances. And that mid, along with that angelica, that sweet, spicy cardamom, cedarwood, and clove, really envelop you with the musk and a slight frankincense and oud with the ambergris that is only classically done by Creed. Brings off a phenomenal fragrance that I think any man will be successful in wearing this in either the realm of dates, the realm of business. Like, you could wear this to the office and you're going to get compliments from every person in the office, every engineer, every secretary, every CEO that you come in contact with. Every person that has an opinion of a person is going to have a good opinion of you when they smell this. And then you take this into the later parts of your day. That woody dry down is sensual, it's musky, it's sexual, it's carnal, and it's very, very encompassing of a great gentleman, like I love to say. And this is one that I wear often. As you can see, this bottle is getting low and low. And I kind of put it to the back of the shelf because I didn't want to run out of it. But once again, this is Creed Royal Oud. And it's beautiful. Just the scent is phenomenal. And the performance is not bad at all. I've heard bad things about the performance on this particular scent. I have not had a problem with this particular scent at all. Great fragrance. Royal Oud, House of Creed. So here, guys, I want to present to you my next fragrance in this lineup. This is Clive Christian's Immortelle Rocco number 8. And so with this particular fragrance, this Immortelle fragrance, it has this amazing fiery quality to it that I enjoy so much. It's not one that I particularly would romanticize about in the realm of, you know, super sexual, but for me, the way it comes off on my skin, it gives me so much confidence that it will take you to that alluring effect in the field when you present that confidence in front of a woman. This here is built around that phenomenal accord that I think Clive Christian does best, which is that opening of bergamot and lemon. They have a phenomenal bergamot and lemon accord along with some of their orange blossom, and it comes off so fresh and inviting, but yet fiery, smoky, and just earthy appeal to it. It has this, as I stated, Immortelle, which is this sweet hay-like accord, and this one, it comes off in the mid, and that's definitely in the mid, about an hour and a half into the fragrance, and that's when it's becoming this, the fiery edge comes down. It becomes this very mellow, alluring vetiver and amber fragrance with this papyrus note. And papyrus is like the Nargamotha. It's like a slightly fiery, oudy type of scent, but not so much in the skanky or medicinal. It's this fiery fragrance that is appealing, sensual, earthy, resinous, and woody. I think any man that has the personality to pull this particular scent off can bring it to line and make a part of their collection and do very well with it. Like I said, it's opening, it's the bergamot and lemon is there, and it's so just alive. It's like you just got a knife and just went through a bergamot fruit, and all the citrus just flying all over the place, and you smell the dispersion of the oils from that particular fruit, and you're sitting next to a bonfire in the Mediterranean. That's what this particular scent smells like, to me at least, and that to me brings so much confidence because it's a extrovert fragrance, and that's one that you need sometime in your collection. It's one that pulls people in, it's interesting, and it's nicely done. Once it gets to the mid, of course, it gets even better for me because that Immortelle is like this hay-like, tobacco-ish type of scent, along with the papyrus and vetiver and that soft ambergris. A phenomenal scent to me. I hope you guys have gotten your nose on this one. This is Immortelle by the House of Clive Christian. Very phenomenal scent for me and my personality. Great dissection of business and pleasure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about last but not least. Let's talk about Luca Maffei and his contribution to perfumery and what he's done with HOUBIGANT. I have several fragrances from this young man, Luca Maffei. He's doing a phenomenal job with fragrances. He's off the beaten path, which I enjoy about any perfumer once they could take and celebrate their own journey in making perfumes. And Luca Maffei does a great job. This is for the house, a classic house. This is HOUBIGANT. They make classics like the first Fougere to ever be made. I think it's Fougere Royale. This one here is BOIS Mystique. And BOIS Mystique for me is a great, this to me is almost the pinnacle of what this list is built on. It has a phenomenal opening accord of cardamom, ginger, divana, pink pepper, and bergamot with the soft white floral neroli. Very opening, just the opening is just so inviting. It then transitions to this frankincense, black pepper, and cinnamon accord with a cypriol and iris root, iris/orris root to a cedar, musky guaiac wood. And the phenomenal part about this particular scent to me is the soft, warm, but fresh myrrh and amber base of it. So this one is in line with fragrances like the Royal Oud, in line with fragrances like the AMYRIS Pour Homme. This is a great addition to anyone's fragrance collection. So if you're on the fence about BOIS Mystique, it's one that is perfect for the office because it's not a screamer. It has very mild intensity, but it has an aura about it. And that's what you want in a fragrance for the office. You don't want something all the time that screams. You want something that has a great projection of about 1 foot, but the scent is being something that is dynamic, something that brings people even closer, or just gives someone the connotation that you smell great and they're pleasant to be around. For me, this goes into that era, but then the scent of it at about the 4 to 5 hour mark starts becoming more and more warm, yet still keeps the divana, which is slightly green, spicy, and almost fruity, with the ginger spice and the pink pepper and bergamot. So that pink pepper and bergamot keeps the fragrance lively throughout it. It stays. He formulated this to keep everything, it has a transition, but everything flows and stays with the particular fragrance. So the pictures of it are phenomenal. It's one that goes on, as you first spray it, you can smell the myrrh and the guaiac wood as well as the opening, and then once it gets to the dry down, you can smell the ginger and divana and neroli in the base with that guaiac wood. And then encompassing the mid of that is that black pepper, cinnamon, and iris. This also has a calling card back to Scorpio Rising by the House of AMYRIS Perfumes. That's another fragrance that can go on this list, but this one here is a little more soft, it does not have the leather accord that is slightly petrolic but inviting inside of Iris Perfumes Scorpio Rising. To me, this fragrance is that in a nutshell without that leather, which can be a slight bit kind of off-putting to some women. I've had some women say it was phenomenal, some say they didn't like it, so it depends on the woman you're around. But this one here takes the edge off of that particular scent and makes it more of an everyday wear and something that every gentleman can have in his collection and rotation and smell phenomenal with. Once again, this is HOUBIGANT BOIS Mystique, done by Luca Maffei, the perfumer. A phenomenal fragrance for this end cap to this list. Great off the cap, great off the skin. Just, you smell the high quality cinnamon, the high quality cypriol oil. The cypriol, once again, is that that kind of like the papyrus. They're the same family. So it's that fiery, woody scent with a smoky edge to it. And it just feels phenomenal. Pink pepper keeps it live. Bergamot, neroli, divana. The divana is kind of like that artemisia, that slightly herbaceous feel, but it's never heady. It's slightly warm and green at the same time. A great scent. Once again, BOIS Mystique, done by HOUBIGANT and Luca Maffei, the perfumer. You guys can get your nose on this one. Phenomenal scent for this occasion of business and pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my content for you guys today. I hope that you got something entertaining and educational from this particular video. As always, I hope that if you did, you hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment below. This has been a list that I am happy to put out for you guys. This was based on, as you saw, the bisection of business and pleasure. The sexy, sensual beast that you can be while coming off of that extravagant leadership position in your job. It's great fragrances that transition you from one to the next. Great scents that I use on a daily basis. These are my Monday fragrances. These are my business fragrances, and these are fragrances that I love to wear. And I hope they're giving them to you as options with something that you could take from this and use in your daily life as well. As always, like I stated, if you guys have any comments, leave them below. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.